Guys, deluded, I'm back again. YouTube's in Golo Kante. Now, of course, you've all seen the full transcript of Uno Emery's latest interview. Of course, it's in regards to playing Boreham Wood on Saturday. Could also claim, I guess, it's a pre-game conference or whatever do you want to call it. But yeah, man, while it wasn't eye-catching and he didn't throw in any clues, he spoke vaguely about certain stuff, and I thought, let me speak about what caught my eye. Firstly, in regards to targets, he played very coy. I mean, he's learnt from Wenger in that regard, saying we're only on the lookout for one or two super players. As you would expect, the majority of the business is done. You'd like to think it's now a case of the clubs needs to get some loan spells sorted out for young players, whether they've got potential of making it here or they just don't feature in the club's plans. Do that. Offload some players that clearly don't have a future. There's question marks probably over Lucas, Jenkinson, or Spina, and them sort of things there before you look for additions. So you can see his angle. What I really liked, and the thing that caught my eye the most, is what he said about five captains. And that's a very Spanish thing, in my opinion. You look at Barcelona; they've got how many people as captains. You look at Madrid. I don't know if they do the same thing Barcelona do, but you can find five unofficial captains. I mean, cool. Ronaldo's left to Juventus, but historically, you had Ronaldo leading in whatever way you want to class it as. You had Marcelo, you obviously had Ramos, you had several players. Barcelona, you had Piqué ready to open his mouth. Historically, you had Puyol, you had Alves, who's not afraid to open his mouth. Messi, I don't know why. Messi is humble, but people still class him as this quiet, shy boy. So you get where I'm going. I like that. When you consider that, yeah, some of the targets might have been underwhelming and won't have necessarily been the most eye-catching, you can see it. Liechtenstein, he might not play all the time, he might be backup hell, he might not even feature too tough, but his experience because of playing for Juventus, he's there. That's one captain. It remains to be seen if Mustafi actually is going to play, if he is going to improve, or if whatever. I like Mustafi, but I believe his future is in the balance and it's 50-50. I've told you guys before, I would actually listen to offers. I would want to keep him and see him in a new system and stuff, but I listen to offers. Let's be honest. Mustafi at times shouts at others without doing his own job, but he's vocal. And if it was all going right for Mustafi, he's got the qualities. I mean, he's tenacious. He opens his mouth. So that's another captain. Check whether he features as a first choice keeper. I'll get onto the keeper situation in a bit, or not. For what he's done at Chelsea, and I've said it before last season, I don't really like getting on to Czech because he's clearly declining. He's clearly making obvious errors and blunders, and I have to talk about that and critique him accordingly. But he stands up to be counted. He holds his hands up. He doesn't make excuses. That's three captains. Obviously, Koscielny's not about at the moment, but you get the example. That's another captain. Socrates has come into the club. He might not be the most blessed technically or the most world-class of defenders or the best defender in the world, but what have you seen from his time at Dortmund? Vocal, ready to stand up and open his mouth. That's what we've needed. If everybody, I'm not saying man need to shout at people. People need to just hold themselves to account. Everybody needs to hold themselves accountable and to high standards like we've seen historically with Sol Campbell and Jens Lehmann, to the point where they wanted to swing each other despite winning the league at the Lane. That's what we need to see in it. So I think that's his angle, and that's what I like to see. And it's away from them sort of players. You could class Ramsey as that. You could class several other players. It's about 11 captains. Everybody standing up to take to be counted, regardless of what you want to do, man. So that's what I liked the most. I liked what he said about the system. He said the system isn't really important for me. Clearly, he's got his own way of playing or preferred way of playing, but you can't stay rigid. The system isn't the most important for me. First, we need to build a competitive team and then find the quality. He said something along them lines, and that's what I like to see. He pulled no punches. Obviously, a club like Arsenal or whatever, regardless of the form we're in, we're expected to be in the top four, the top six. All that top six have said, if you don't win a league title or whatever, or don't make champs, you only have yourself to blame. And I believe everyone in the top six can win a league title and should be looking at that in August. But he's not here to gas people and stuff. He said, let's take it step by step, day by day. First work on stuff and then see where we go. That's what I like to see. You typically, people overpromise and underdeliver. You need to do the complete opposite. He said step by step. I like to see that. You also obviously said against Boreham Wood it would be the young ones and the ones that have trained with us. So you'd like to think Emery Smith, who's looked very impressive in training from the videos I've seen. Him, Willock, and Ketia, Osei Tutu, these players that are hoping to go to Singapore with the first team will get a chance. Obviously, the likes of Maitland-Niles will feature, and probably the players that will need to sort out their futures, the likes of Akpom, Lucas Perez, and Jenkinson would probably feature to some degree. So that's what we'll see. And then obviously, as the preseason go on and the players return, and we play the likes of, I think we've got Atletico Madrid, PSG, and Chelsea in preseason. we start to see how the team's shaping up, and we'll see a better lineup to a degree. So that's what I like to see, man. He's not ruled out additions, like I've said. He obviously talked up Aaron Ramsey. He kind of deflected all questions when asked about the contract, and he's basically kept it true and said that's a matter between the player and the club. Obviously, he knows where I go, and he's probably waning in, but that's what you like to see. To be fair. The keeper thing, he said he wants to see all keepers. He said we'll need 3 keepers. Now, if you look, there's Czech who's declining. Ospina is not convincing. Nobody lie here. Matt Macy's been here for a while. Probably needs to get first team experience. Martinez the same. And obviously Leno's coming. There's 5 keepers. 2 need to get subtracted. Whether Martinez or Macy head out on loan. Whether Ospina's binned. What happens to Czech. We've seen Napoli interest. He's quashed it. He was given the #1 shirt. So someone must believe in him, or he must feature in at some degree to the plans. If it's me, I'll probably at this moment in time, because Leno's the new signing, I'd like to think he's the #1, and Czech is introduced in the cup competitions at this moment in time. So yeah, he's thrown down the gauntlet to all 5 of them keepers, and that's what you want to see. To be honest, I would have loved to have loved João Virginia to go on loan. I mean, to go with the first team to Singapore, but he's at the under-19s championships in Finland with Portugal. I think Macy could go on loan, but it remains to be seen. Martinez, you'd like to think you're starved of football. You probably won't get much football if you stay in amongst the squad at Arsenal. The Getafe loan didn't really work out for you. You hardly played, so you'd like to think he's a candidate to go on loan. But he is a Spanish speaker, so maybe that gives him a blind to stay and increase the influence at the club, sort of thing, to be fair. So yeah, they're the things that really caught me from his press conference. Like I said, he's hardly going to say anything eye catching. It's hardly the most glamorous of fixtures against Bournemouth. We can't draw too many conclusions. Unless it's going to be on repeats of Bournemouth TV or their website or on Arsenal, I'm actually not going to be able to watch the game. Obviously, England are playing, and I'm going to be out, to be fair. So we'll see how it goes. But for now, guys, deluded, get in a comment, subscribe, and do the rest. I'm out.